On Capitol Hill, a potential government shutdown is looming. House and Senate Republicans will have to come together to forge a deal before the March 14th funding deadline. Earlier this week, House Republicans were able to narrowly adopt a budget resolution that would advance President Trump's agenda. It passed in a 217 to 215 vote, with every Democrat and just one Republican voting against it. CBS News congressional reporter Taurean Small joins us now from Washington. Taurean, thanks for joining us. So President Trump weighed in last night on the government funding shutdown, the showdown, rather. What did he say? And are we any closer to an agreement?
Yeah, Michael, the president on a post on Truth Social said that Joe Biden, in his words, left the country with a mess, referring to the previous spending bill. So he's saying that more work is left to be done, and they're hoping to push through a continuing resolution that will last to the end of September. Typically, the CRs, especially to get bipartisan support, have to be pushed through cleanly, which means there won't be any adjustments to previous spending levels. That's something that Donald Trump is indicating here is not on the table in his mind. The problem with that, though, is March 14th is the very hard deadline that they have to get something through in order to avoid that government shutdown. We also know talks have significantly broken down between leadership. Hakeem Jeffries, Democratic leadership in the House, said at a press conference yesterday that he's focused on messaging, getting his party together, while he has his ranking member on the Appropriations Committee focus on those negotiations. We were asked several times about whether or not relationships are strained between him and Speaker Johnson. He said again that he's focused on allowing his ranking member of the Appropriations Committee to continue those negotiations. What they want to do, though, is rein in some of President Trump's powers, especially as he and DOJ look to undercut where that spending goes. That's an issue for Republicans, as they say it's a non-starter for them to limit the executive in any powers possible.
Taurean, let's talk about DOJ, the Department of Government Efficiency. They continue to cut spending, continue to cut jobs. How are lawmakers on the Hill reacting to all this?
Well, Democrats are certainly not happy with that, talking about how unelected billionaires are controlling the federal government through these radical changes in their minds. We've also seen quite a bit of protests happen that Democrats have been supporting. I should also mention, though, although it's not as public, there are quite a few Republicans who have taken issue with the level of cuts and drastic changes to the federal workforce happening under DOJ, something that many Republican members in the Senate, like Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine, have said this should be something that department heads, these confirmed appointed members to these respective agencies do, not something that Elon Musk can control. We've also seen quite a bit of pushback for these lawmakers from their constituents at their town halls. I think we have sound from one of those town halls now. Let's take a listen.
I felt like I needed to stand up for federal workers. Right now they're being humiliated, terrorized, and just plain thrown under the bus. They are not evil people.
Well, I'll go ahead and use the phrase disappointing, but that doesn't capture the full emotions.
Congressman Rich McCormick was one of the first lawmakers to face this type of intense pushback from his constituents during a town hall a couple of weeks ago. He said that he and other freshman members of Congress met with the White House to get guidance on how to move forward with that. In the wake of that, we're seeing people like Speaker Johnson putting the blame on Democrats, saying that it's activists who are showing up to these town halls to complain without providing any evidence. But we've talked to quite a few Republican members who voted for these, or Republican voters who voted for these members, who say they have just as many concerns as Democrats about DOJ.
All right, Taurean Small, thanks. Interesting to hear there from two people who attended a town hall with Democratic Congressman Suhas Subramaniam.